welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Well, I have the pleasure of highlighting the Kate again, which is based in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, and Brett Elliott, the executive director, has been kind enough to come back and be with us again today. So Brett, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me again.
I really appreciate it. Well, I've been pursuing you since November, so I know that finally in February your calendar is a little bit quieter.
A little bit, but not too quiet.
So you've been here before. I know the people love seeing you and hearing from you, but why don't we take them back for those who haven't gotten to know you into your background. Introduce yourself. Let us get to know you.
Sure. So Brett Elliott, I've been the executive director of the Kate for the last 11 years. My, that has flown by. I come from originally regional theater, so I was at Chicago Shakespeare Theater in Chicago before the Kate. That's where I did my master's in arts leadership as well with DePaul University. I used to work at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center here in Connecticut in Waterford as well. Yeah, I'm originally from Michigan, so, Michigander.
How did you find the Kate?
Yeah, well, when I was working for the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center, actually Lime Old Lyme High School, I did some of the lighting for their school plays and musicals. And the last year that I was able to do that, their auditorium was under renovation, and the Kate had just opened, and they did Footloose at the Kate that year. And I came with them to do lights for that show. Met Chuck Still, who was the founding executive director at the Kate. We got to know each other. I did some shows that summer for him, and then I headed off to grad school in Chicago. And then at the end of my grad school time, 2 years, he decided he was moving on to a new project and asked if I'd come back out here for a few months while they hired the new person, and I ended up being the new person. So I've been there 11 years now.
How has it been? Was it a switch for you? You were mentioning lighting. How was it coming into an executive director position? Sure,
yeah, I always was kind of on an arts administrative track, maybe more from the nuts and bolts production side. I was a stage manager, I did lighting. I actually think the fact that I chose to go down an arts administrative pathway, but had that background of the how-to of theater, the nuts and bolts piece, really actually made me a more rounded arts leader in that way. I kind of understood how it all worked. It was the path that I always sort of wanted to be on. I did think that I probably would stay in regional theater, a place like Goodspeed or something of that nature. And the Kate does something slightly different with music and a new show every night, as opposed to, leading up to one show that might run for several weeks. But I wouldn't trade it. It's very exciting. And, the Kate is also multifaceted with all of the different programming, but also the museum and all of our great education programming. So it's a fun and busy place, and I have a really great staff.
Probably people have said, I've heard of the Kate, I haven't heard of the Kate, I have no idea where Old Saybrook is. Why don't you tell us about the Kate and Old Saybrook?
Yeah, well, if they haven't been to Old Saybrook, they're missing out. It's a great shoreline community, great shoreline town. It's a wonderful place with great restaurants and shops and quaint Main Street. It's great. The Kate sits at the south end of Main Street, near the town green and the firehouse. It is a building that has been in town since 1911 and has had a very storied history. But after the town hall offices, which occupied it from somewhere around the 60s through 2000, moved to the renovated school, which is now town hall behind, many residents wanted to see that building turned back into its original purpose, which was a theater. The folks working on that were able to secure the Katharine Hepburn name because Kate spent most of her time in Old Saybrook. It was her paradise. It was the place she wanted to be. Everybody who was in town when Kate was alive has a Kate story from somewhere, whether it was Walt's Market or, around town. And it's been open now for 16 and a half years.
Wow.
We've done some 3,800 performances in those 16 years. About 650,000 people have come to shows or taken part in the museum or an education program at the Kate since our opening. It's a busy place.
What is the objective of the Kate? People, of course, have been there for any type of event.
Yeah.
What do you folks do?
Yeah, well, our mission is to bring in the great arts and culture, or great arts and culture to the shoreline, and also education opportunities, and be a lasting legacy to Katharine Hepburn. So it's sort of multifaceted. And yes, we do a lot of shows, a lot of music shows, some theater. The Saybrook Stage Company is with us once a year, or twice a year. And there are some other opportunities similar. And some comedy, we do dance, the Metropolitan Opera simulcast, so lots of film on our screens. It's a lot of different types of things. So if whatever is happening tonight isn't quite your cup of tea, check the calendar for tomorrow, because it's a whole new thing.
Is that different than the Goodspeed, your kind of operating theater, as compared to that operating theater?
Yeah, I mean, the technical term is Goodspeed is a producing theater. They produce their own work. They do a show. They might do that show for several weeks. We're a presenting theater, so everything we're doing is coming to us sort of ready to go, and we're booking that entertainment, and then night after night the shows change. But we're a little bit more of a music venue as well. When the Kate opened in 2009, Goodspeed is not too far away. Iverton Playhouse is in our backyard. Connecticut is a very arts-rich state, so we sort of opted to do something a little bit different than those right in our close proximity. So it's been a little bit more music and comedy and those types of things.
How do you decide what you want to have perform there?
Yeah, there's a bit of a process. We're always sort of looking for new and interesting and original acts to come in. We recognize many of our members and audience also would like to see particularly some of the artists that they might have seen 20 years ago, and they wonder what they're up to, and so we're bringing in some of those. We do some tributes, or tribute acts that are, maybe a tribute to an artist that is either still performing but most likely is no longer performing, like the Beatles, right? There are tributes out there for those. We try to pride ourselves on quality for those acts, so I'm not just booking the first one that comes across my desk. I'm working with some agents that I trust and bringing in quality acts. But we work with a lot of agents, about 50 or more agents that have rosters of artists, and those agents I get to know and I see at conferences, and they get to know our space, and we sort of work together.
Well, for the artist that is watching us now, or group or band that is interested in performing at the Kate, do you deal just with agents, or are you interested in new acts? Yeah,
we are interested in new acts. They can email info@thekate.org. We do have a series of Connecticut co-bills that we do. So we have, we just had the Meadows Brothers and Belle of the Fall on stage. We have a Connecticut co-bill coming up, I think coming up Sunday, or maybe it's the next week, I can't remember. There are so many shows.
Yeah.
Often my brain is 6 months ahead because it's where I'm booking entertainment. I have no idea what's happening this week. I do, but
Yeah, of course.
So we're always looking for local acts as well. Sometimes they're openers for shows. They might support an artist and they'll go on for 20 minutes before the headliner. Sometimes they're in co-bill configurations, like these Connecticut co-bills. It just depends.
You mentioned that your thought process is 6 months ahead. Do you plan, here we are at the beginning of 2026, do you have 2026 planned? Have you thought about 2027?
Yeah, my furthest show out right now is May of 2027 booked. But I'm still finishing up for the summer. I have a lot of stuff in the summer, in fall, but there are still dates that I'm filling. It's unique because we sit right between New York and Boston on I-95. And so I'm going after the shows that I really want, and I'm bringing in other things that I want to see in our schedule. And then sometimes I get calls 4 months out that says, we're in New York on Thursday and we're in Boston on Saturday. Do you have Friday? And it's an act that would be really great. So, I get as far ahead as I can, but sometimes I need to leave just a little bit of flexibility for those wonderful calls. So, yeah.
Now you're mentioning music, but what other things that are presented at the Kate that you like?
Yeah, well, I love theater because I come from that background. So a couple of things that are coming up there. The Saybrook Stage Company will be back with us in June with Brighton Beach Memoirs. And Vista Life Innovations also doing their show with us. It's an all-ability show. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. They're doing The Wedding Singer coming up in May. So those are two theater pieces that are coming up. We have some comedy coming up as well. There's an Irish comedy piece. I should mention we're moving into St. Patrick's Day, so there'll be a lot of Celtic music on our calendar in the near future. But yeah, just lots of diversity of the things coming in. It's never a dull moment. It changes all the time.
And I had mentioned to you before we started taping, I saw my first opera presently at my age at the Kate, the Met in HD.
Yeah.
Tell us about that program.
Yeah, so the Metropolitan Opera in HD is a simulcast series that comes from the Met Opera, and we show all of the live performances that they send us. Those are on Saturdays. This season there were 8 of them. And then we encore them the following Tuesday. So if you couldn't come on Saturday, we capture it on Saturday while the live audience is watching. It's being beamed via satellite to the Kate, although I think it's transitioning to a streamed version in how the technology works. So we did all 8, and they had 2 additional encores this year. The Magic Flute happened in December, and then we just did Cinderella as an encore from a previous season as well. But we don't only have opera on the big screen. Saltmarsh Opera is with us every fall in October as well with live opera. So always something.
Okay, we are going to take a break, so hold that thought, okay?
Sure.
Okay. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in. And we continue to highlight the Kate, and Brett Elliott continues to be my guest. And I'm kind of going to say to you, it's your moment. We've got many things that you'd like to discuss in this part of the program. Let's talk about the expansion first.
Sure. Well, we are working towards what hopefully will be an amazing expansion of our building so that we can do all sorts of new and wonderful things, more things in the future. One of the things we've really been focused on is the idea that while the Kate is a cultural arts center, our expansion will allow us to be a more comprehensive cultural arts center. Right now, we're primarily a performance venue. A lot of performances, people come, people enjoy something, people go home. But this expansion will grow our education opportunities both for kids and adults, but also there might be painting classes, there might be dance things, there may be, you mentioned the Metropolitan Opera that you've come to, and we would love to be able to offer more talkbacks for the Metropolitan Opera. But on those Saturdays, as soon as the Met is over, we're ushering that audience out because the band is loading in, backstage already, and we have to transition, and we'd have more space to be able to do that. We're creating really flexible spaces. 4 rooms, 2 on each level, and on each level those 2 rooms can open together to make a larger room. So it's classrooms, it's conference rooms, it's the upstairs space is kind of being thought about as a little bit of a black box theater, more of a cinema space, lectures, things of that nature, about 90 seats when it's set up as a theater. I should say this does fix a few challenges we have at the Kate as well. It would solve some office problems. We have about half the offices we need right now for the staff we already have. And if you've ever been to the Kate and you've seen large drum sets or heavy guitar amps or all the different things on the stage, there is no elevator to stage level currently, and it will fix the artist load-in situation and allow us to do potentially more complex things in the future. So it's a really exciting project. The Kate is a town building. 300 Main Street is a building owned by the town of Old Saybrook in a long-term agreement. So we're looking forward to partnering with the town on the potential of this project. We're working through commissions and all of those pieces right now. But we're really focused on what we bring to the town. It's not just the performances we bring and the quality of living that we increase, but there's a lot of people that come from out of town to the Kate. Actually, 85% plus of our audience comes from outside of Old Saybrook's borders. And so that means those folks are coming into Old Saybrook and they're enjoying our restaurants and they're enjoying our town. And that's really great for the town in terms of economic development as well.
Well, we've got your pictures that you brought with us. Why don't you tell us what we're seeing?
Yeah, well, this would be a view from Main Street, Old Saybrook, looking at the Kate. You can see the pillars or the front columns there to the left. And then slightly in the middle, you'll see the current lobby, the picture window there that the Heroes tree is in the winter, and our side patio and the balcony. Often you'd see a tent there on that. Then this whole section to the right is the expansion. And you can see Town Hall sort of behind that as well. The sidewalk heading to Town Hall is the current sidewalk that's there right now, so that doesn't change. We're not taking over the town green or anything like that. It's to the side. And it feels, my opinion, but it feels like it fits in with the Town Hall campus really nicely and will allow great flexibility for the Kate in the future, but also the town.
Do you feel, here we are in 2026, do you feel this is a good moment for the Kate to look at having an expansion? Is this a good next step?
It is a good next step. You're either growing or you're not growing, and this will allow us sort of to move into the next step. This is a night shot of that same space, I suppose.
This is fabulous.
And
Look at that.
I should say, this is just an artist rendering. It is based on the drawings that we've been working on. This has been a process that we have been in for 4 years with the board thinking about what our next steps needed to be. That was 4 years ago. We worked through that process for about 2 years, and then we started working with Centerbrook Architects, who this is version 3 or 4 of where this expansion could be in the process. We tried several different things, and I think we've arrived at the very right version. It's very well thought out. It's very thoughtful. It thinks about the interaction with the Town Hall campus. It gets us the maximum amount of space that we can get in a flexible format, so it doesn't lock us into one type of thing. It leaves us a little bit of growing room, but just allows all sorts of new things to happen. So I do think it's the right time. Certainly we're in the quiet phase of our capital campaign for fundraising as well, but parallel to that, we're working through town commissions, and so there's kind of the quiet phase, but we're also pretty public on the other side of it because we have to be as we move through those commissions. So yeah, it's a really exciting project. The entire staff is excited. There's weekly meetings on all of these things, and we get more and more excited, I think, every week, realizing how close to reality we could be.
And I think about the Kate also as the museum
Yeah.
and children.
Yep.
I think that people don't think that the young people are involved there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, let's start with the museum really quickly, if I
Oh,
could.
great.
You mentioned that
Sure.
first. So we are the official Katharine Hepburn Museum. That is on our first floor. It is part of the lobby, so people coming to shows get to enjoy it. I love reading in the comments from patrons in our post-event survey how they didn't expect it to be there, and it was just a thrill to be able to meander about. We have the Spirit of Katharine Hepburn Award. We are all about keeping Katharine Hepburn's legacy alive and relevant. But for education, yes. One of our signature programs is Kate's Camp for Kids, which is going to be in its 14th or 15th summer. My goodness, I can't even remember now. And registration for Kate's Camp for Kids and Summer Spotlight opens on March 3rd, so it's coming up soon. Often it sells out within the first day or so. It's a very popular program. We had over 100 families on the wait list last year. So part of this expansion is the idea that we might be able to serve more families for that in the future. And I should say Kate's Camp for Kids is 5 to 10-year-olds, and Summer Spotlight is 11 to 13-year-olds, though this summer, 2 of the 5 Summer Spotlight weeks will go up to 15-year-olds as we sort of transition into what could be a third program that will likely be 14 to 17.
So the program is that, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
the young people come in, they learn a play and perform. Is that the process?
A little bit. So for Kate's Camp for Kids, it's more skill-based. Certainly there is a showcased performance on our stage, which is the highlight for all the parents on Friday. And they are doing elements of a performance. They're in different age groups within those smaller groups, and they do some dance, and they do some drama, and they do some singing and choreography. But it's less about putting on a show and more about the skill building and building confidence and working as a team. And then in Summer Spotlight, which is the 11 to 13 or this year 15-year-olds, they are creating a piece. They're usually creating a 30 to 40-minute piece. They're writing music. They're creating the entire script from a prompt that they're given at the beginning of the week, and they have a week to put that together. So it's really about the teamwork and collaboration as well, but with a bit more of a story. Yeah.
And you mentioned the Katharine Hepburn Spirit Award. What is that about?
Spirit of Katharine Hepburn Award. Yep.
Spirit.
Yeah, it's we just presented our 10th. It's usually presented, well, it is presented every year at our summer or fall gala, usually the end of August or September. This past year, Jane Fonda was the recipient specifically because she was in On Golden Pond with Kate. Of course, Henry Fonda was also in that movie. It was really interesting listening to her talk about how she wished her dad could have seen this place, meaning the Kate, because it's exactly the kind of place that he would have loved to have supported. Really great recipients over the years, though, and those range from Glenn Close, who credits the fact that she moved on this acting track to Kate, or Cher, who was the recipient the year of the pandemic, and when Cher used to tour more, and her mom would often be on tour with her, they would take Katharine Hepburn VHSs because it made them feel like home. So Dick Cavett was a recipient, Christine Baranski, Martina Navratilova, tennis. She and Kate had a friendship, and Martina gave Kate one of her Wimbledon rackets when she won. It's been really great to listen to those stories and keep sort of that legacy alive. So we're working towards the 11th annual Spirit of Katharine Hepburn Award, but I can't share who yet because we're still in the final phases of that, but it'll likely be late this summer, early fall.
Tell us about the Oscar party.
Yeah, so the Oscar party is our second largest fundraiser. We're a cultural nonprofit. We raise a lot of money to make the Kate happen every year. We're grateful for that support and our members. The Oscar party is March 15th. It coincides with the Oscars. There's a silent auction and some other pieces to it. Fresh Salt at Saybrook Point caters it. It's a really fun party. It honors our namesake, who had 12 nominations and 4 wins for Best Leading Actress, and she still holds that record today, even having been gone for 20 years.
Wow.
And also her span, she won that first one in the 30s for Morning Glory. So, she had this amazing career. Meryl Streep has more nominations, but Kate won more times.
Wow.
So far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really fun party. And we raise some funds for the Kate and just have a fun night. And I should mention the day after the Oscar party, so March 16th, it's a Monday, we are co-presenting a show with the Gard Arts Center over in New London. I mentioned a lot of Celtic music coming to the Kate, and the High Kings, which are Celtic folk rock. They've been to the Cape many times, but they play much larger venues now as well. So sometimes when they come through, we'll partner with other places, and so we're partnering with the Gard and presenting them there. And so it'll be amazing to have 1,000 or 1,100 people at that show because the Kate only seats 285, which is wonderful, but sometimes you have to think a little bit differently.
How do you partner with another facility? I mean, are they big screens and you see them both at the same time? How are you seeing 2 separate acts?
Oh, no, so they'll be live. They'll be at the Gard, and our folks are just purchasing tickets over there, and we're partners in the presenting of the show.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see, okay.
Yep.
Is that something that you do every year?
We, not every year. It really is based on the artists that might be coming through. We have presented some shows on the campus of Connecticut College at Palmer Auditorium. So we had Herb Alpert there, and we actually did the High Kings with Mary Black there a couple of years ago. So sometimes we just need slightly more seats because we love our theater. We don't want to change our theater. But if we ever need a slightly large theater, we just go looking for that large theater, and we either partner or we rent and bring in that act.
My thought would be your mission for the next 2, 3, 5 years. Is the expansion your thought process right now?
It is, because I think our focus for the next few years is moving into that next chapter, that Comprehensive Cultural Arts Center chapter, that chapter where there are fewer kids on the wait list for camp, and we are able to serve the next demographic of camp, those 14 to 17-year-olds. It's also, being able to diversify our offerings. I mentioned the Met Talkbacks or lectures, or, wouldn't it be great if there was a once or twice a month singer-songwriter coffee house series at the Kate, or painting. We've done paint and sip nights or painting classes or other unique things. We've had requests for adult public speaking classes. And we keep trying all of these things in the space we have, but we have this small space sort of below the theater right now. It's called our Marquee Club, and we try to do public speaking classes in there, which was really great until they started sound checking the music act upstairs, and the drum kit would be thump, 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 and it's really hard to do a public speaking class when there's that background noise. So we're creating the space to be able to make all of these amazing things happen in the future.
Well, we have run out of time. So I want to thank you very much for being here, and continued success and good luck.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate being here.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I really hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time.